All right, and we are on. We're on. What's up, man?
Hello.
Yeah, I got like 45 minutes probably for this morning. I got a bit of travel lined up, so thought I'd hop on, and I don't know who else is going to pop in, but the link's there in our generals chat, so we'll see what happens. How you doing, man?
Perfect. I'm excited.
I want to hear about your
tuned.
I want to hear about your engine tune because you just got the Beamer.
Yeah.
What'd you get it bumped up to?
Engine tuning is not exactly dark art. I used to do it 10 years ago. Used to tune cars as a service. So I have this M850, which is a convertible.
Is it diesel or is it gas?
It's gas.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't go diesel for my main car.
They actually did a diesel version of the M8 or the M850, I think, didn't they?
What they do have is that they have the M550D, and they have the diesel, which is a 3-liter diesel engine on the X5, but they don't actually offer it on the 8 series. So it's just on the 5.
I thought I saw a Top Gear video somewhere where they offered the diesel in the 8 series, and they were just talking about the monster torque because they make killer torque. So I thought that was interesting. But
yeah,
what kind of power does the gas engine make now that you got to boost it up?
Stock, it's 530 horsepower.
Yeah,
and now it's about 670.
Oh, it's totally safe. That's definitely reliable.
Yeah. It is.
That's good because my M5 had 700 horsepower. I think it was like 698 or something like that when you had the Diamond tune on. And that car was quick, but that was rear drive only, so you couldn't really use it until third gear.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's really interesting. And this car is more of a grand tourer than it is a racer. So it's very comfortable, and it's more of the car that you want to drive when you go for a 400 or 500 kilometer trip. Than the car you want to race around town or something.
Yeah, I know. It's way more comfortable. Do you have a picture of it on your Instagram? Can I show it if you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
I think it's the last pic.
Yeah. So you guys can see it, so you know what we're talking about. Because these you can get in North America too, I believe.
Yeah, and it's great value for money, and it's exquisitely well done on the inside. The padding and everything, the sound insulation is much better than on other BMWs.
Yeah, it's got the crystal shifter and everything too in the M8.
Yeah. This is actually a picture of my car, even though it looks like a stock photo.
Yeah.
It's just done in a friend's garage that has the revolving floor pad where you don't have to turn the car around. You just park it on a pad and it turns it around like in Batman's lair.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah,
that'll be fun for you. So that should be reliable. And so I noticed you've been posting a lot of stuff lately with racing as well. You kind of reminiscing from your old racing days?
Well, the things like this, I used to take a break because I was very fat and out of shape.
Yeah.
And now that I've lost about 10 kilos, I'm pretty much itching to do some more racing, either through some Formula cars or some bikes or something. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I started laughing when Big Black from Canada popped in there.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, man?
It's fucking early today for me, man. But
yeah, I know.
It's all good.
Nobody watching knows why I'm laughing, and I don't even know if you want to say, dude.
I thought it was better than the other name, but
okay.
Oh, the other name is fantastic. Yeah, you should have thrown it on there.
You guys can speculate and figure it out. He's got a bit of a part-time gig that he does. Jared,
should we go into that?
It's
not too much. Yeah,
that's up to him. Yeah, that's up to him.
Trying to adjust my camera right here. It popped me right in this one instead of the backstage.
What time is it in Mexico City right now, man?
It's 7:30 right now, but Mexico's not going to do daylight savings time anymore, so everyone's going to spring ahead, and it's going to be even earlier for me.
Consistent, yeah.
October 2022 was the last time they did it. So
they were talking about doing that in Canada, but they're waiting for the United States to kind of get their act together on that.
We passed it in California like 10 years ago, but it's California, so obviously it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah. So, dudes, we got to talk about the Silvergate thing because I know that I'm sure Dragos and Big will have some feedback on it too. But you guys know what's going on. Hopefully, in the chat with Silvergate, it's like the biggest bank to fail in the U.S. since 2008. It's
you mean Silicon Valley Bank? You mean
Silicon Valley Bank? Apparently,
nice.
Harry
Banks are failing now. Sweet.
Yeah, well, apparently Harry and Meghan had almost all of their money in Silvergate. So there's some chatter right now on Twitter right now about them losing a vast fortune, and people are hilariously celebrating. And then you got this issue, and then you got this issue with here. I got to put this up on the screen too, so you guys can see this. USDT is now trending. So apparently, you know, these like stable coins, which are purportedly supposed to be stable, you know, into perpetuity, which, you know, is obviously not true because they're all goosed by the system, the matrix. Someone accidentally swapped over $2 million of some shit coin and received 5 cents USDT because they didn't set the slippage right. There's all kinds of shit falling apart with the crypto market right now. And
They swapped $2 million of USDC for 5 cents of USDT.
No, it's what was the shit coin that where is it again? Let me scroll back down, I'll find it. Oh shit, I lost it. Did it update the feed or something?
I think I have it on my last story.
It's where is it? No, it's not it. No, I lost it. They pulled it out of my feed for some. No, here it is. Swap 2 million. What's 3 CRV? That's some kind of shit coin, right?
No, that's a Curve stable coin, I think.
I lost 2 million due to a bug on CyberSwap. I want to swap 2 million 3 Curve to USDT, which is another stable coin. And I set the slippage to 0.5. However, I received almost 0 USDT. The fact is your program has a bug causing me huge losses. Is there any insurance fund available? The guy lost $2 million and he's trying to claim. So that's his email, I guess. But where was the screenshot of the Ether scan? Anyway, dude apparently screwed up. So
you get a liquidity token when you deposit and the Curve liquidity pool. That's what he swapped. So it's supposed to be equal to $1.
Yeah. So you guys need to figure out what the hell you're doing when you're using crypto. Anyway, so USDC, which is the main stable coin that's tied into Silvergate, which should be locked or pegged to the US dollar, is now worth 91 cents. And I think I saw it drop down to 70 cents at 1.2. I saw this coming yesterday, and I swapped every USDC token that I have, except for a small amount which was locked up. So I got to wait till later on this afternoon. So maybe I'll get 91 cents on the dollar or whatever. But like I saw this coming yesterday, and I got out of all of my USDC.
You want to know something really funny? I had like each time one of these collapses happened, I had massive exposure to it just a few days before.
Yeah.
So when Celsius happened, I withdrew maybe 20, 30 days, I think, before. When Luna happened, I had just sold. When FTX happened, I had just withdrawn to my bank account. When this happened, I had just deposited my money into a Forex broker. And it's now in dollars, not in stablecoin.
Yeah. Stablecoin ain't always as stable as they purport it to be, obviously. And, there's your proof in the pudding, especially when there's shit going down and all of these financial institutions are tied into these stables. You guys got to pay attention to stuff, man. It's like there's lots of opportunities in this volatility to make lots of money, too.
Yeah. This is a fight between the U.S. government, basically the Democrats side, that were backing FTX and Circle. And the counterpart is CZ. And
do you think CZ's laughing right now?
I think it's payback for them blocking BUSD through Paxos.
Could be.
Also, these banks have failed due to investments in normal financial instruments, so not crypto.
I guess the upside to all this is it's going to push a lot of money out of stables, probably into Bitcoin, which seems to be holding the Bitcoin price reasonably stable for the time being. But I still think we're going to see the crypto market below 15,000 in the next little while.
I'm not sure it's going to happen now, though. I have a hunch it's going to happen maybe in October, November, because there were some entries of big players that don't usually make mistakes.
And those big players would be who?
Just some wallets
some whales you follow?
Yeah. This is like 100% the best way of making money.
Yeah, absolutely. Volatility.
They get alpha that you can't access.
Hey, let's did you guys see the Chris Rock special?
No, I haven't seen that one yet, but it's definitely on the watch list.
I've seen a few clips, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
So it's another.
He was very gracious.
He goes after him, right? That's what I've heard.
Yeah, he does. And why wouldn't you? I mean, Will Smith walked up to him on a stage in front of the world and slapped the shit out of him, and he did nothing.
It's Chris Rock too. He was raw back in the 90s, so I'm glad that he hasn't caved to the.
I think he's one of the best stand-ups, or was. I mean, the one that he did recently, like the stuff outside of the Chris Rock stuff, I didn't think it was that great to begin with, but Never Scared, in my opinion, is one of his best stand-up comedies. But the thing that happened in this stand-up comedy on Netflix was he basically used it as an opportunity to pay back Will Smith for what happened. Well, I don't know, what was it, like a year ago?
Yeah, it was about a year ago, a little bit more than a year.
Yeah, that was a great little bit. You can probably find it on the interwebs. It's something like maybe 8 to 12 minutes long, but he really lays into it. It's like, he's basically saying like, look, dude, I didn't put this out there. It's like you and your wife sat down in front of a table in front of the world and talked about her cheating on you with your son's best friend. And you're mad at me because I say something.
You had a publicist there.
Yeah.
You had a team, a PR.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think it sounds very familiar to the situation with Megan and the other guy.
He goes after her. Yeah. He goes after them too in the special, actually.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, he goes after them too, and I think that it's kind of like a this is what like American celebrities have become, is this kind of like red table talk kind of cheating on your wife, has the woman is in charge and all this shit. The man's a limp dick kind of cuck, though, right? That's kind of what is expected in these Hollywood circles.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're like exactly real life check stand tabloid magazines.
It's brutal. Like, is Will Smith still married to Jada Pinkett Smith?
Yeah, I believe so.
He's still with that hoe after all of that.
Yeah.
That is
Tupac's alpha widow.
Yeah, well, maybe maybe some bull will come along and swoop in and have a story there. I wouldn't doubt it.
Speaking of which, the other two that shall not be mentioned, South Park recently did an episode on them, which is pretty funny, and I think it pissed them off. They were the Canadian royalty, though.
Yeah,
that was actually one of the best episodes of South Park, apparently, and it's really like right now, like they're less popular than Prince Andrew, the alleged pedophile who was on Epstein's island. Like they're less popular than him.
Yeah.
So I think they got kicked out of their house in the UK.
But wait, Oprah Winfrey likes them. Yeah, she's friends with Oprah, right?
Wow.
Yeah, she's a purveyor of truth in modern society, apparently.
Yeah.
But I think basically what it comes down to is that, especially in entertainment, these things move on a 3 or 4 year cycle, right? So if you think back to 3 or 4 years ago, that's when the whole Me Too thing was in full swing. And so that's why a lot of these projects are coming out now. So, but the success of stuff like Top Gun Maverick and just other projects that aren't super woke means that Hollywood is kind of, or entertainment in general is kind of recognizing that this whole path they're on is an abject failure. Mm-hmm. And the pendulum is going to be swinging back. It's just the way that Hollywood or entertainment works is that these things are in the pipeline for maybe 2 or 3 years. and then there's the marketing. So it's probably going to be about another 1 or 2 years before the pendulum kind of swings back to normal. At least that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see some good movies again. I had a conversation with someone down here recently, and actually a couple people have asked me lately, like, what's wrong with the U.S. culture? Why don't you guys make good movies anymore? Why don't you guys put out good music? Why? It's like, I don't know. It's a larger sign of some sickness inside of our society, I suppose.
Yeah, they used to knock out bangers, and like, I mean, when I was a kid, 80s and 90s, right? Like they would knock out banger after banger, like Top Gun. What was the one with Tom Cruise with the NASCAR, Days of Thunder or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they used to knock out banger after banger, and it's just now most of the stuff that I haven't gone to the movie theater in ages. It's probably been well over a year. Like even after they lifted the restrictions, I think I've seen maybe like 1 or 2 films or something. Top Gun was probably the last one that I saw.
I like going to the movie theater too. I've had people ask me, "Hey, is it because of COVID? Did COVID kill cinema?" And I always say, "No, cinema killed cinema." There's a lot of good foreign movies coming out. My brother watches like Russian war movies. I know people that watch Korean movies that really like them. Mexican cinema is starting to get better, but the U.S. cinema and just general pop culture has been terrible for going on a decade now. Even comedies, you can't find good comedies. But back in like pre-2012, that whole decade or prior to 2012, there was a bunch of good comedies like the Frat Pack and those raunchy ones.
Ski School and all that sort of stuff. You know, I've had a lot of recommendations, you know, from my brother because he's an avid like war film sort of guy, and he's like, "Oh, you got to check out this war movie. You got to check out this one." It's like, I'll go and turn it on for 5 minutes, and then I'm either reading the movie because there's subtitles, or they've translated it into English, and it's like a bad Japanese like kung fu movie from like 40 years ago where like the lip syncing doesn't match up. Obviously, it's like I'm not reading a movie and I'm not watching something where the lips don't sync up to the dialogue. It's like done. I'm out.
That gets annoying here. I always watch the movies in original language, so usually they're predominantly in English, but out of habit, I always have the Spanish subtitles on because I usually have Spanish-speaking company. So that's not as bad as when it's like Russian to English. But the thing is, Spanish and English, that should be a pretty easy one to translate as compared to like a Russian to English, German to English, and they still screw it up all the time. I know it'll distract me that I'll be listening to the English audio track. Something's really funny. And a lot of times for it to be funny that you have to have specificity. And you look at the translation and it's so general and so broad and so vague that it just dies with any of my Spanish speaking audience around me. So that's always kind of tough too with the translation thing. You lose a lot in translation, so to speak.
Sorry to sort of bounce around here because I got the attention span of a squirrel chasing a shiny silver ball, but I'm just keeping an eye on my crypto app here, and interestingly, volume in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's almost always number one. It's, you know, Bitcoin's 37 billion right now, but USDT, so Tether, is over 70 billion right now. A lot of money is moving into that. People are thinking that's the stable solution right now. That's interesting. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry about that. Distract you guys from the conversation about movies and theaters and translations. What else is going on with you guys this week? What else is on your mind? What have you seen in the media?
It was International Women's Day on Wednesday.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's not every day or anything like that.
They had a feminist march here, but they didn't burn anything down this time, which is nice. Although I always give them credit in these Latin countries because it is dangerous for women. Femicide is a real thing. There's a lot of kidnappings, a lot of forced intimacy happens when they're really young. So I do understand that. As long as they're not burning down statues or defacing cultural monuments or artifacts, I'm cool with that. Like, I don't think women should be kidnapped, you know, but don't burn down your city either.
I did get an email from somebody who said that he was at a women's march and it turned to violence and they were burning buildings and stuff like that. And he had videos and pictures if I wanted to see them. And it's just like, you know, it's one of those things like,
but was it the women that were burning the buildings?
Yeah, apparently.
Or was it provocateurs? Yeah. Or was it provocateurs that were there taking advantage of that?
Yeah, apparently
like on the West Coast, they bust them in for the riot.
Yeah, apparently it was women, but they're like all Antifa intertwined, like weirdo women sort of thing.
So you mean women with dicks then is what you mean pretty much.
Hey, dude, you never know. You never know.
You
never know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're probably right, but I just can't see like a group of violent insurrectionist women going in and burning buildings. Like it just doesn't, like, they'll complain, but I just don't see them taking action on stuff like that. But I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
I shared I
Sorry,
shared
go
a
ahead.
picture in the group with you guys the other day on the Women's March. There's a girl I know here. She works for one of the political parties, one of the more conservative ones. And ironically, I didn't realize she was going to the march. I'd heard about it because we knew that it was going to shut down traffic and whatnot. But she'll come over every now and then when she's in the neighborhood, and came over, had a quick rendezvous, and then I see her posting photos. And it turns out that she's actually more on like the conservative side. So I thought, oh, there's like a conservative side to feminism too. You don't see that as much in the US or the Western world, but here, even in Central American countries that are a little more on the conservative side, I have seen that before, where it's, okay, I'm pro-feminist, but I'm anti-abortion, which if you really think about it, those two do kind of logically go together, because it does damage the woman psychologically almost always after the fact, which they usually don't speak about. So I found that interesting. It's just an observation, not a judgment necessarily.
So I just did a Google search on Women's March turns violent, and there's several articles about women's marches in Mexico City turning violent.
Oh, they did. Damn it! I didn't see anything, and I've got a good
Pakistan Women's March also turned violent in Islamabad. That's interesting. Pakistan Rat March turns violent in Islamabad. Where is Islamabad? It's not in Pakistan, is it?
That's Pakistan, isn't it?
Yep.
This is such a foreign subject for me.
Pakistan,
women's marches turning violent.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Well, I thought you were talking about the Islamic cities. I'm like, well, the U.S. has bombed a lot of these places, so that kind of helps us with geography. It's how Americans learn it, or how we did back in the day.
Here you go. Look, here's the article. Will not tolerate this. Pakistan Rat March turns violent in Islamabad. Oh, for fuck's sakes! No thanks. Go away. I got all these pop-ups coming up. You guys probably can't see it. Oh, you can see it.
No, we can see it.
Anyway, so these gals went violent. I'm telling you guys, man, like toxic feminism is invading the rest of the world. When you see situations like this in Islam where women are becoming violent over women's issues, the shit's not good.
I mean, I do like Muslim women, though, so them getting more liberal doesn't necessarily affect me in a negative way, if you guys catch my gist.
There are
good things to feminism.
There is, but there's also a special breed of like boss girl Islamic women that are more westernized. They're like, I've dealt with a lot of guys on private consults, and I've had several guys over the last few years that are going through a divorce that are from the Muslim world, and these women are brutal. Like when they're westernized and they take the toxic feminism pill, they are wow. Like they're as bad, and in some cases I've heard worse stories than what happens in the West. It's just crazy. And the one here, Women's March in Mexico City turns violent. 81 injured. Armed with blow torches.
That's awesome.
Hang on, let me put this up here.
That's funny.
Holy shit! These women's lost their
mind. I didn't see any fires or tear gas or anything. I know in Colombia they usually get the tear gas treatment, which is fun.
Dude, a women's march in Mexico City turns violent with at least 81 injured, armed with blow torches and hammers. Women demonstrated at the president's residence, demanding that Mexican government take action to address one of the world's worst rates of gender violence.
Oh, that's funny. Which the violence against women down here is really bad. So they do have an argument there, but yeah, I don't believe in burning down houses or.
So is that their solution to like bring blow torches and hammers and come on, you're not.
Yeah, but I think that the violence in Mexico in general is pretty bad, though, isn't it?
Can be, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mexico. Like I think it's one of the most dangerous places in the Western Hemisphere, is it not?
I have friends that live down there, and it's not as bad as but like, I mean, if you live in a dangerous area, and if you're involved with the wrong crowd, but I've got lots of friends that live in Mexico that they're very happy there.
But I think
I feel safer here than in the U.S.
Yeah.
Mexican Iron Man would say the same.
Mexican Iron Man says, "What's your commentary and analysis of the future of Silicon Valley Bank and woke tech bank of venture capitalists?" We actually already talked about that at the start of the show, so you're gonna have to drag the time thing back. We were talking about that right at the kickoff. Actually, Silicon Valley Bank.
Silicon Valley Bank basically did it to themselves.
Yeah, there's just too much venture capital money chasing around. It's just too much free money. It's pretty much what it was, though, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like you're just putting money into just whatever shit company, and then
Evaluations based on nothing, based on hopes and dreams and wants and wishes, but nothing really tangible.
House of Cards.
That's the beauty of tech. If you can get on that side.
And not just
like
not
no,
just that.
We're not worth anything. Like we have a $7 million evaluation. It's like we don't do anything. We haven't produced anything. I love working for companies like that.
But we have users. We have users.
Yeah. We have an idea.
It's not just that, but just the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the perks in these companies are astronomical. Like there's just, they pay for all your meals. They pay for all, like the campus. They have these way overbloated, employee rosters. Then they're paying these people crazy amounts of money.
It's adult daycare. I've worked for those companies where it's really cool at first. Like, oh, they have this awesome chef, and they can do my laundry on site, and there's a gym on site, and they can wash my car, and they can clean my shoes, and they do everything here on campus. And then you realize I'm literally all day here. It's like I'm back in college. I live at this place because there's no reason for me to leave work now. So that
the other thing is,
just pay me more.
The other thing is that, like, sometimes they're just like, I just want to work. I don't want to play video games.
Yeah.
I don't want to play foosball. Like, I just want to work. Can I do that?
There is an argument for office culture, and I got heavily involved in this back in late 2000s up to about 2011, 12, so about 4 or 5 years. Like, I put a lot of money into office culture, and we had a lot of benefits. We had like a games room, we had a gym, we had a car wash studio with a pressure washer, barbecue and shit. Like, we had a lot of cool stuff in our office, but we never went to like full like liberal, like full sort of retard, as they said in Tropic
an adult
Thunder.
daycare, like the toys,
basically, right?
Time,
where they have like these
guys.
nap time sleep pods, sort of thing, and people don't really work, and all their meals are paid for, and like stuff like that. Like, on Fridays, I would bust out the spadooch tray and take out the lamb and season it, and I do like a lamb spadooch on lunch. I sort of walk around and pass out sticks to everybody because that's my thing. Like, I like to do that, right? And people really appreciate it. But like the level of like adult daycare that they run in a lot of Silicon Valley companies, like I don't know how the productivity rates even exist.
Yeah.
Like, how the profit rates even exist if they spend all this time and money just doing this. And people get upset when they get laid off. Like, oh, I have to find a real job now, right?
But the thing is, Rich, the thing is, Rich, is that it's all bullshit, though, right? Like, I don't know about your company, but I know with a lot of these big Silicon Valley companies that have like 50,000 employees, like when the rubber hits the road and interest rates go up, they lay off 10,000 people. So all their talk of like, oh, it's a culture, we're like we're
family.
Taking care of you. We're family. We're giving you all this free stuff. We care about you. No, because again, when interest rates go up slightly, they're still making money. All these companies, right? They're just laying off people because it's a liability on their balance sheet. They just want to improve their balance sheet, do stock buybacks, right?
That's something a lot of guys learn the hard way in their career, and that it's not a family when they get laid off. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And Josh Fluke does a lot of videos on his channel. You'll see on LinkedIn, like, I'll miss my family, and I'll miss the extension of me and my everything. And it's like, okay, don't make your job your entire life. I love the remote first culture because I'm usually pretty singular focused. When it's time to work, it's time to work. When I'm done, I'm done. I don't want to fuck around anymore. I don't want to sit around and do powwows and hoorahs and sing lullabies and merry-go-round songs. I don't like doing.
You can't go too
Just
far.
let me do my work. And then I'm
100% go way too far. I'll even say like where I went, I probably went a little bit too far. But Silicon Valley takes it up to the next level. Speaking of Silicon Valley and Silicon Valley Bank, here's that article I was telling you about earlier. Gonzalo Lira just tweeted this out. He goes, "Please God, please let this be true." And the caption is, "Breaking: Harry and Meghan stand to lose millions in the collapse of SVB Bank. Sources tell ISN the couple set up an account following the advice of friends in Silicon Valley. This is a major blow. They had all of Harry's money in there. All of his money is."
This is unbelievable
for him.
Yeah. But
wait. Can you smell that? Smells like divorce is coming for him.
Oh,
Well,
that's
he has no
funny.
house. He has no house in London, so I don't know where he's going to live now. Right?
Well, I'm sure
I mean-
the royal family will take him back in. I mean, they're not going to let him.
Is he going to get paparazzi'd like another prominent member of the royal family some years ago?
Who knows?
I know
Guys,
there's speculation about that, but just leave it at that.
Silicon Valley Bank didn't go bankrupt because of VCs. They went bankrupt because they bought treasuries, right? So when you deposit your funds with a bank, they eventually have to do something with that money. They don't just hold it. So they put it into treasuries, and as the money rate went up, the value of the treasuries went down. So when they had to liquidate because people wanted their money back, they did so at a discount, and they couldn't take the loss.
Basically, there was a run on the bank, though, and keep in mind, this all just happened less than 24 hours ago. So I'm not quite caught up to speed on this, but from what I understand, like they were the bank for a lot of the Silicon Valley companies. Like I'm just reading right now, like I know Roku, the streaming company Roku had 25% of their cash in SVB, and it's not insured, so. Like they say there's not going to be much contagion, but I mean, when you have a company like Roku, and who knows what other companies had all their cash in this bank, and then it just goes bust.
And what you have to understand is that most of these banks cannot put their money into other assets except bonds. They aren't allowed. So the only place that they can get exposure is against the government and the US dollar. And when they increase the rates, they decrease the value of these bonds. And basically they need to sell them at a loss. So this was 100% classic financial system issue.
You'll see the fallout of this next week.
Yeah.
It
I
really
think they
hasn't
get
hit the
bailed
markets
out.
yet because most of the markets have been closed.
Yeah, I think they get bailed out.
You think so?
Yeah, in some way. Maybe
Wouldn't
Too
be
big to fail,
surprised.
maybe?
Money printer go burr.
Yeah, something. I don't know what, because they probably need
Rev it
to
up.
hide it in some way, right? Because they don't want it to be like, hey, we're bailing out a bank.
Mhm.
But even then, the shock to the confidence of the system is the damage has been done already, right? Even if they are bailed out, right?
There's just like, except the classical dollar, one place where you can put your money and not be scared that you might lose it is Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum in these volatile moments.
Yeah. You know what else is interesting too is turning into a store of value as well is certain exotic cars, or more of them now, are holding value and going up in value because they're having difficulty making them, right? Like they're not able to make enough of them for the demand that exists for them, which is interesting. Like I was out doing some shopping. I was, thinking about trading the 720 for a Spider, and it's like, dude, the inventory is almost non-existent, even here still. And like, it's still winter. Like I can show you outside. There's like a foot of snow outside minimum.
Yeah.
Are baseball cards worth anything? Because I have a hell of a collection from when I was a kid.
If they're valuable, I saw Patrick Bet David talking about some. I think it was a Wayne Gretzky card that he bought for like 400,000, and he sold it for 2 million, and it's worth like 6 million now. And he was pissed that he didn't wait longer or something.
Yeah,
Oh shit, that was a joke. Yeah, I got to pull that out of storage. I've got a huge collection.
But he is a big collector, but you have to know what you're collecting, and you have to know what it is that you're looking for, right? Like any kind of.
I did in the 90s, but I haven't done anything since.
Well, check your collection, man. It might have some value. You might be sitting on a big pot of gold. You might.
Yeah, it might be. I've got a laptop full of Bitcoin too. I've got a laptop full of Bitcoin at the San Diego police station. Someone stole that laptop years ago and then used it in the commission of another crime. So the case closes actually this month, and I'm going to see if I can get it back. I don't know how much I have on there, but I bought some way back in the day for just to kind of test it out. Like, oh, what is this? It's an interesting concept, but who knows what that might be.
There are lots of stories of people who have like 20, 30, 100, 200 Bitcoin on some hard drive that they don't know what the fuck happened to it.
I actually had a
Oh,
laptop.
it's
I actually had
in a
an old
police
laptop
station.
from like
Part of the case
2011 or
file.
2012. Somebody showed me how to mine Bitcoin on it. I was like, all right, I'll turn this thing on and let it mine. And it mined a few Bitcoin. And I was just like, whatever. I just ignored it. And I put the laptop back in the office and somebody stole it. So somebody, I don't know if they can access it if they got the keys or whatever, but there's a laptop out there somewhere with a few Bitcoin on it as well that used to be mine.
Yeah, they found my laptop, but the guy, it was on his possession when he committed another violent crime. So it's like part of the evidence file. And I've been trying to get it back for years. And they're like, we just got to wait until the case is closed, till he does his, what is it, like house arrest or rehabilitation, whatever the hell he got charged with. I'm like, all right. So I've been waiting for a while. And at the end of this month, I should be able to get it back.
Yeah, it's one of those things you chalk up as a loss, and if it shows up, it shows up. It's like the whole thing with Celsius. I got a couple of G's sitting on that. If I ever get it, I'll be like, all right. If I don't, I'll be like, whatever.
I don't know.
I always joke it is technically a secured investment when the San Diego police are physically holding on to it for you.
But to be honest, though, back in the day, it was so not hard, but it was so complicated to get into crypto. Back like
It
10
was.
years ago, that it was just like
There's no sense to me back then. I had no idea what
It was
I
like
doing.
dark web
Yeah.
stuff. I think if I remember when I was doing it, I
Yeah,
think
there
it wasn't
was-
quite above the board yet.
now with the what's it called, the ledger or whatever that I have, it's so simple to get into crypto that it's
Absolutely. The barrier to
know,
entry is almost
Yeah.
non-existent.
But 10 years ago, like it was, you had to know what you were doing.
Well, like 10 years ago, you could mine Bitcoin on a laptop, right? Like you didn't need a
Oh, yeah.
powerful processor, right?
Yeah, people
Oh,
bought
yeah,
like
yeah.
USB
Simple.
keychains.
Yeah. I think I got to run in about 5 minutes. I got to get packing for this trip that I'm hopping on, but I wanted to get in with you guys and have a quick chop up session and stuff.
Where you heading? Anywhere exotic, fun, cold?
I'll be down south. I don't reveal where I go
Oh,
until
cool.
after I leave.
Oh,
There's
gotcha.
weirdos out there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
makes
guys
sense.
in a private chat. But yeah.
So a few people in like our general chat have been talking about doing the whole ice bath thing.
Yeah.
Some homemade solutions. I'm just wondering what you guys' thoughts
I've
are
seen a
on
few
that.
of those. Yeah.
I did 4 minutes in an ice bath at like 2 or 3 degrees Celsius the other day. I found this place not too far from me that has like a hot cold room, and the sauna is set to 180, 185, which is exactly where you want it for the heat shock proteins, and you can hop into the cold plunge. And I'm telling you, man, after about 30, 40 seconds, once you get over the hump, it's not too bad if you can control your breathing. But there's so many benefits, dude. Like everybody's getting into it, and the one that you're talking about is CH's, who put the freezer and he lined it with like pool liner, basically sealed it. So you can make those for $250. You can find a freezer on like Facebook Marketplace for maybe $150, $200. Buy some pool liner or some pond liners or something like that. Something that's a heavy duty vinyl. Cool it down and then unplug it and get in. They always say to unplug it, and it should work. I just don't trust them because I mean I weigh 220 right now, and I wouldn't put my weight in a chest freezer. I mean, they're made for like frozen pizzas and frozen sandwiches and stuff like that. They're not made to hold like a human in it.
And that's kind of like what I was getting at when I was talking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dragos.
That's
you
not
can put
true
like a quarter
about
rack of beef in
chest
those.
freezers.
What's that?
That's not true about the chest freezers. It's one of the products that we have made for us OEM in China.
Okay.
And the larger ones, I think they're 300 or 350 liters, are actually rated for quite a few kilograms, maybe up to 150 to 200 kilograms.
So 200
we
kilograms
pack
of
them
weight
full of meat
will go in it.
Yeah.
For the winter.
So maybe it would work then.
Yeah.
Or
It does work for holding your weight. I don't know about like when you get in it, if you like press the lining, because it's some type of foam with either plastic or metal.
Mm-hmm.
So when you step on it, you might damage it, but I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how CH does with his.
Yeah. So definitely, like after workouts, I definitely hit the steam room. Steam room is good. There's not as much opportunity for the cold stuff, well, except Canada. And just go outside, right?
Yeah.
But
leave your house.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't seen too many cold therapy things personally. So I don't know if that's catching on. Have you guys seen an increase in that at all? Or
you did it when we did that retreat, right?
But
You
we
went
had to
in the
cut
lake.
but we had to cut a hole in the ice in the lake, though. Right?
Yeah, it's the exact
Yes.
same thing. Like you'll get the same experience. In fact, I think the cold plunge freezers are probably colder. I'm pretty sure that lake water, as cold as we thought it was, because
Yeah.
it's under ice and it's more insulated. I don't think it gets down to like 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. It was probably a few degrees warmer. So
I guess kind of what I'm saying is that so there's lots of steam rooms, like lots of gyms that I know have steam rooms or saunas, but the cold experience, I don't see that in very many gyms, although it's starting to increase.
it's
in
starting to get more
popularity.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that has
Yeah.
anybody seen anything like that? Like any
No,
cold
but they
therapy?
do have these facilities now that are popping
The
up where I
cryo.
live that are like, sauna, cold plunge rooms, and you can rent them by the hour. You can go to like a Russian banya. Like there's a Russian banya too that I go to as well. It's like big, massive place. There's all these Russians and Ukrainians and Eastern Europeans that go there, and they have a hardcore, like really hot Russian sauna rooms. Then they have a dry Finnish sauna, steam room, hot tub, and a cold plunge, so you can kind of like rotate through them. They're a pretty good deal because you pay $50 and you can stay there all night if you want. They got food, they got Russian food. It's like a social thing, right?
Well, that sounds
Yeah.
cool, actually.
Yeah. I brought some of the guys from the Toronto 1% to it a couple months ago. We all did a bit of a meetup. Anyway, speaking of, I got to bounce, got to get a few things going. Good seeing you guys.
Cheers.
I'm not sure if I'm going to do a TUA on Monday. I'm going to see what my internet connection's like. I might have to cancel if it's not working. If not, I'll be back next Monday. But you guys have a great weekend, eh?
Yeah, we'll
Cheers.
see you.
Be safe.
All right.
Yeah,
See you
likewise.
guys later.
Cheers.
Safe travels, Rich.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.